Thank you very much for inviting me here. This is the first time that I talk about something that I do in London, here in Rome. So it's an absolute first. I come from Rome originally, but I've lived in London most of my life since I was 20, so since I started going to university. And I come back to Rome just for family reasons and for bureaucratic reasons, which are, as you know, before we know, there are lots of those reasons here in Rome. So this is amazing for me. I was so over the moon when Matthew suggested I should do something professional in Rome, which is great. So I'm really, truly excited. I'm not just saying it like we say it normally at the beginning of a talk. I'm really, really pleased. So, and I'm also very interested to hear people's reactions to this work. So the way I've structured this is by telling you about these points. So it's about Spellbound, the exhibition, and a little bit where it is and what's it doing and how it's doing. As Matthew said, that's important for an exhibition because an exhibition is a hell of a lot of work, 4 years work in this case, but normally it can be 6 years work. And it's work that obviously then it's up for 3 months or 4 months only. And you obviously are very nervous and very conscious of the fact that there is an audience and you want to know how the reception, what the reception is like and what the press are going to be like. And talking of audience, I would like to have, first of all, an idea of this audience so that I can progress. And I'd like to know, first of all, who is Italian and who is not Italian in this audience. Can you raise hands, the Italians? Okay, so everybody else is not Italian. Okay, good. That's gives me. I'll tell you why later on. It's to do with culture and magic. A little bit about press, audience, events, and public. A little bit about the history of magic. Then questions, which is a very important. Not your questions, but my questions. And then magic as opposed to magical thinking. Matthew was talking about both of them, and it's very interesting because they can be talked about in the same context, but actually there is a major difference between them. And then a little bit about the making of an exhibition. It turns out that every time we give talks, myself and my curatorial colleagues, about Spellbound, we realize that it's important also to say what's behind the making of an exhibition. It's important because we put certain things in, we take certain things out, and we respond to the general atmosphere when we choose to include certain things in an exhibition. And we have some contemporary artists in the exhibition that we brought in because of contemporary issues. So these are the subject matters that I will discuss. The first one, which is a documentary, I document everything that is to do with the exhibitions that I curate. And this one is, the first slide is of, just to give you a sense of where it is. It's at the Ashmolean Museum in Oxford. And it's a major event in that museum. You can see from the writing on the wall. It's also a major event in the sense that you see there is a huge crowd there. And this is just one Friday evening. So it's not even the opening. The opening had as many people, but this is a Friday evening. And this is Oxford gathering on a cold Friday evening for about 4 hours at the Ashmolean Museum to enjoy a series of events to do with magic and the exhibition. So if you look carefully, there are some people dressed in white on one of the landings there. And there are all sorts of events that are going on that night. This was very, very well attended, and attended particularly by younger people. Now, the Ashmolean is a very well-established museum, and what it was aiming to do, it was aiming to attract younger audience. And this is the first time, it's the first exhibition that has attracted the largest number of first-time visitors of the ages between 16 and 24. So it's an absolute first, and it's a huge success for the museum. Today, we reached the target of visitors we aimed to reach. I don't know if you know, but every time there is an exhibition, a proposal, we also have to say how many visitors we think we're going to have. And if we're lucky, we have as many visitors as we projected, or we have more visitors. So we're going to have more visitors than we projected, which is fantastic, which means that the museum also makes money, not just a cultural event. Press, it went incredibly well. We had a fantastic reception from the press. Everybody was enthusiastic about the exhibition. And we were very interested to see what were the objects that impressed the press. And they were the ones that were the spookiest, of course. And we have quite a few spooky objects, but not the majority of the objects are spooky, because it's a very serious and scholarly exhibition as well as a spooky one. So what is underlined here is the irresistibly creepy new show about the supernatural, and bravely takes a first look around. So, and then a few comments. This was a really lovely review in the Financial Times. And it was a long review that ended with these words, and we all very much liked this, and we all were very moved by this end of this review of this journalist called Simon Ings. What you don't expect is that Spellbound will make you want to be a kinder person. Now, this was wonderful, because that's really why I wanted to do this exhibition. And you will ask why. How do you go from magic, ritual, and witchcraft to being a kinder person?